Today we have a new segment on Engineering Pack Pod called Tiny Wins. Tiny Wins is all about bringing grad students on as guests to talk about moving forward with small incremental progress. So today we have Julian Cohen, who is in his first year of his PhD in mechanical and aerospace engineering. Hi, Julian.
Hello, how's it going?
It's going good. You're our first person on Tiny Wins. So, to begin today, would you share a challenge you faced in grad school that didn't look big from the outside but felt heavy in the moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest challenges from the outside that I felt was field testing. Right now, I'm working with an autonomous rover. One of the challenges is it's not autonomous; it's remote controlled, and it breaks a lot. Anytime we go do testing, some wire breaks, the code doesn't work, someone updates new code, and no one ever knows when people put new code on it. So one of the challenges that I always tend to face is things always breaking, and I have to be the one that fixes it.
Having things break is not according to plan. Tell us a specific moment when something didn't go that way that you had hoped and exactly how you fixed it.
This actually was yesterday. We did field testing in the fraternity sorority village. They have this a volleyball court, and we had inspected it. Everything looked perfect. We found out it just snowed that day, so our test environment was kind of slightly ruined. And when we started doing tests, all of our data was like completely different. And I even tested it before we had left. And going back to that challenge, another thing had broke. We had scheduled everything for test for 5 hours, get lots of data, because I'm running a machine learning algorithm, and we need data for it. So instead of doing 5 hours of testing, I had to spend 3 hours fixing it. So
Oh, Julian, that sounds like the worst. So much time that you didn't plan, that you had to shift gears on. What was the tiny win that helped you regain your
yeah.
momentum and your confidence?
The tiny win was during those 3 hours of fixing it, the undergrads who I mentor, they had brought to me a lot of their work that had been working on. Right now they're working on motor control, and I was very impressed. They had done this all without any of my input. I could really see that they've been putting the work in to get things moving, and it made me feel very proud.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, what do you learn about yourself through this experience that maybe you didn't expect to learn?
I think what I've learned is there's always going to be a challenge, and there's always going to be some divot or some speed bump. And if you go slow, really think about it, take your time. If you rush, another thing's going to break, and then you've another day of no data. So going slow, and sometimes you get little cookies thrown at you, like undergrads getting work done.
Yeah, I like that story. That's really heartwarming. If someone else is facing something like this where they're struggling, what's one honest piece of advice you would like to share?
I would say take a breath. I know my first semester, I was trying to go full speed. I was in my lab till like 8 p.m. and I was miserable because I wasn't eating, I wasn't going to the gym, and I was just like, man, I've been in my lab since 8 p.m. I'm exhausted, no time for like any free time. So really especially at the start, just take a breath, realize it's not that stressful. Overall, it's stressful, but every single day you should find a way to smile, crack a joke. I love cracking jokes.
Humor is so
Yeah,
wonderful, and you and I have touched on the fact that that's a little bit of a side gig that you have is you enjoy doing stand up. So laughter and humor. Let's end with something on a note of fun and see if you can make me laugh, my friend.
okay, that's a lot of pressure.
No pressure.
So I did a stand up routine last at the end of last semester around finals. The first joke that I had cracked was that I'm building a robot, and one of the things they teach us in class is to not make it self-aware. And people ask, like, why don't you want to be self-aware? when the robot is first like born, as you'd say, if it knows what it is, it'll ask, where do robot babies come from? And you have to sit it down and say, let me tell you about the bolts and the beads.
Okay, that could be even a dad joke for you one day.
Yeah.
I like that, the bolts and the bees. This has been such a lovely conversation, and thank you for joining us today just to share one small tiny win.
Thank you, yeah.
Go Pack!